You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
Right guys, welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. You know the drill by now. Smash that like button, help us get to 50k as soon as we can. A little bit of a breaking news video, this one. It's been reported tonight and it's been given the official stamp by David Ornstein of The Athletic, who reports this evening that Michael Edwards is close to agreeing a senior role with FSG, including oversight of Liverpool football ops, if he accepts Richard Hughes set to join LFC as sporting director, which was Michael Edwards' former job. Not done, but the talks are advancing and a resolution expected early next week. We thought we'd do a video on it now to kind of give you the lowdown on it before it actually happens, but as we know, sensational return could be on the cards here, as Michael Edwards is close to returning alongside Richard Hughes, the former Portsmouth midfielder of 20 years ago in the Premier League, I remember watching. So the restructuring of kind of post-Klopp era starting to take place, it seems. Now, few questions for you in the comments. What does this mean for the general health of Liverpool Football Club going forward? How does this mean we can attract a manager like a Xabi Alonso? Is it Edwards, Hughes, Alonso kind of relationship that allows them to have an open discourse on what players the next manager would like to bring in or sell? What does it mean for FSG? How have they kind of relinquished a bit more of their control to bring in Edwards? I mean, they obviously are now looking at the long-term health and financial wealth of Liverpool as owners, which is a big contrast to how they were up for selling the club, or parts of it anyway, recently. So for them to actually go back and almost beg, I mean, we've seen the news that they've been meeting in LA with Michael Edwards to kind of rekindle some kind of magic in their glory years, I'd say from maybe 2017 to 2021 under Edwards. And we've had Jorge Schmadtke, who's done a fairly good job, I would say, in the end, in the two windows of obviously bringing in Endo and Szoboszlai and McAllister. So you almost, you know at the end of the season, obviously Klopp and Schmadtke are both leaving. But I find it interesting that FSG have been kind of steadfast in their pursuit of getting Edwards back. I mean, they're looking around the market going, well, we know Edwards is obviously unemployed. He's, been a big part of Liverpool's success in bringing in these Van Dijks, Alissons, etc., in the last few years. So he's got a proven track record of doing it, not only on a successful stage in both domestic competition and Europe, but for Liverpool. And I think they've been, I'd almost have to say they've listened to the fans, and they've really understood maybe what the fans kind of want again under Edwards. So for them to kind of listen to that social commentary, but then actually to go after him, have meetings with him, try and get him back in the club, I would say that's a commendable thing that the owners have done there. Let me know in the comments, does this kind of put FSG up in your estimations, or how do you kind of look at how they're dealing with life after the talismanic Jurgen Klopp? I think they're doing everything they can, clearly, to get the right people in, make the right appointments on the pitch and off the pitch, and I respect this move. And listen, we've heard of Michael Edwards being linked to Manchester United. Can you imagine how bad that would have been, and other big clubs? But it was kind of Thursday where the reports broke that fresh talks have been between FSG and Edwards in America, but now we know, thanks to David Ornstein, the agreement is very close, and it would seem to take up a kind of senior role that maybe he wasn't doing before. He's obviously going back with more experience, probably asking for more money, probably saying, look, if you want the job done, this is how we're going to do it, I need X, Y and Z. I maybe want some equity. I heard of rumours of that. Maybe he takes a 1%. Again, they're not true and I can't confirm them, but they're just things that I've heard. But it's interesting that Richard Hughes would come in as well. This is obviously now someone who FSG have had their eye on, and someone that actually Michael Edwards has probably been speaking to. I'm hearing they're good friends, these two guys. So that kind of relationship surely can only be a good thing when it comes to bringing success back to Liverpool, both on and off the pitch. As we know, Richard Hughes recently left that Bournemouth role as technical director, obviously has firm kind of pedigree within the footballing world and has built his way up into kind of more senior roles. He didn't go down the management route, which I find interesting. But he'll obviously be very keen for this to happen. As we know, they've got a good relationship already. And he's apparently known to rate very highly the ex-Cherries administrator of a top transfer operator. Think of the business that Bournemouth have done. You talk about Justin Kluivert, who's finally kind of finding his feet in the Premier League. You know, they've got some good signings there. Lloyd Kelly, we've sold Dominic Solanke to them. He's killed it for them in the Premier League. I think 16, 17 goals for them already. So that's some return. And there's more, by the way. There's way more. Tavernier, you know, is another name. But it's reported that progressions are anticipated to be concluded by early next week. So we could be looking at an official announcement from the club Monday or Tuesday, if I'm honest. But it's positive news. It is really positive news, and it gets to a point now where, as much as the emotion and, you know, there's still massive competitions to play in for Liverpool and win this season, it's nice to know that we're not rushing around come May, June and July to find and fill these positions. It's more about, okay, we're in March, obviously these talks will have been happening for a long time, but now we can finally see that they're coming to a close. It shows me that FSG are thinking all the right things when it comes to the future. Now, they're not perfect owners, we know that. We can list 4, 5, 6 things that they haven't done, or they've done to not a great degree. We can point the stick out with them and blame them for. But the new stadium is obviously underway. I'm sure they tried their absolute best to keep Klopp. Why would you ever not try your hardest to keep him? We've done really astute business in the window. And hopefully they're doing absolutely everything they can to bring in Xabi Alonso. Here's another question that's just popped up. What's bigger for Liverpool in terms of on or off the pitch success in the immediate term? Is it really stabilising, let me sneeze, hay fever? I don't know if there's any hay fever sufferers in the chat right now, but I am a sufferer. As soon as it hits March, nose flares up, instant sneezes. And I've just had an antihistamine as well. But anyway, the question I was about to ask is it as important for Liverpool at the minute to really stabilise that behind the scenes senior upstairs role of a sporting director, technical director, or is it as important to bring in a new manager? I would argue they're both pretty much maybe 60-40. They don't work without one another, they work in correlation. If you've got a really strong upstairs, which we did with Edwards, by the way, and Klopp, how are you going to replicate that going forward with the new manager? I'd say they're almost as important, maybe a 60-40 swing to in the manager's favour. But at the same time, the thinking into putting Edwards into a more senior role obviously works great for him. He's going to get a lot more money and obviously a more senior role, and he'll have more control. He'll overlook operations instead of being the guy on the ground as per se. But Mike Gordon, this would allow him to step back from his kind of day-to-day role with Liverpool as he initially planned all along. So, lots of things to discuss. Obviously, we'll give you the full breakdown when it officially is confirmed by both parties. Obviously, Fabrizio and David Ornstein are here. Fabrizio said Liverpool owners want to, and this was about a week ago, maybe even 10 days ago. Liverpool owners want to try one last try to give Michael Edwards back a more senior role in the club. This was about 10 days ago, and obviously they would have had meetings since that. FSG want Edwards to take up to take over football and put the new structure in place, including the new sporting director, which we're hearing is Richard Hughes. Edwards has currently shown no sign of saying yes, so again, a lot has changed in the last 10 days, but LFC will try again. So you can imagine maybe another zero's gone on, maybe a bit more of a guarantee of more control of operations, maybe saying, well, listen, if you rate if you rate Richard Hughes highly, go on, you can bring him in as well, and we really restructure this from, I wouldn't say the top to bottom, because obviously there's a lot of roles that are already fixed down and are in place and don't need to change. But when it comes to a sporting director and also a head of kind of recruitment, what it would become really for Richard Hughes, this is so important. So to get the early scoop on it now, after they've been having that discussion for the last however long, is good. So listen, let me know what you think of that in the comments right now. If you haven't watched the match preview with Big Steve, it's an hour-long special. We really delved into not only the game on Sunday, the kind of rivalry, the nasty side of things between Man City and Liverpool. We spoke about each other's clubs, bit of Coronation and Brookside chat in there as well, which was a good laugh. And that was sponsored by Match Bingo. So go and download Match Bingo. Do me a favour, jump on the QR code or the links in the description in that match preview video. And don't forget, Sunday, for the big one, on the pitch, we'll be watching Liverpool Man City and giving you the fan cam straight after. So make sure you stick around for that as well. But I wanted to give you the news, and it is almost official. It's due to be announced Monday, Tuesday, but that is Richard Hughes, and it looks like Michael Edwards are coming home, baby. Get in there. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you check out the rest of the channel too. There's other stuff you'll enjoy for sure.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice
of football's most famous dads. Come on.